today I almost slipped into the mentality of video gaming, but I remembered my notes and I remembered my objective and goal today. And so, journaling is very, very helpful to conquering bad habits. So let's take a look at the first trade here. Now, the first trade, I was going long, and it was basically based on the fair value gaps on the 1 minute chart here. And I think that's probably about it because the dude didn't have a whole lot on the 15-minute chart. 60-minute chart was actually showing us a very strong move up, but it was hitting into this fair value gap, which is my second trade. I took a short in this area here. Both my first and second trade were break even. Third trade was a home run, so I'm grateful for that. But let's take a look at the first trade again here. I entered in right here in this first circle, this circle here, and it was a late entry because I wanted to go long. And it did go long. And so when I got close to, a certain degree of profit, I just took my stop and brought it to break even. And that's where we broke even, was on this right here, right next to it, break even. I was just circling down here to show better entries. If I was going to go long, there was a fair value gap down here and even an order block, that's why my third trade was actually good. I switched from fair value gap ideas to order block ideas. And the order block trade did a lot better than the fair value gap trades. So I'm grateful that I'm learning. So yeah, I went long. I should have grabbed that long down here, and it would have been really, really good. Then I went short because it was hitting, well, you can see a little fair value gap right here on the 1 minute chart. But the point is, I still got in late. Let's take a look at that here. You can see where I got in and where I got out right in the next candle over. So both the entry and exits are in this circle here. Got in. I should have got in up here higher, and I probably could have actually had my profit target without breaking even on that. But entering late on both trades is something I need to record. Now let me go do that before I talk about my third trade real quick. All right, it looks like I took 5 trades today. I thought it was only 3. I forgot about these 2 at the top here. I was trying to fade off of the highs. Okay, 2 trades right here. One failed and one worked. Why was I trying to fade? Well, there was an idea of it fading off of this fair value gap of the all-time highs here, or of a recent high. And it got up into this area and wicked out a couple times, and it could have worked. In fact, it did work on the 4th one. It finally did. But the first one, and this is where I almost slipped into my video game mentality, because right here, when I entered right here to go short, it was way, way, way out of the highs, way up here. I don't know why it went there to short. It stopped me out when it went over the highs right here on the two positions. That's why there's 2. And then I realized the pintail is right there, and I just jumped right back in, and I said, I'll use the highs one more time. When you do that, when you go back in the trade right after losing, I think it's okay once. Like, this was really good. It was a good thing I did that. But it's not a good idea when you do it over and over and over and over and over again. That's what I need to understand. Like, I don't want to say never do that. Never get back in. Never try twice. That's not a good thing. People do that and it works great. But when you try over 3 times, that's when the failure, the mentality starts to kick in. The bad thinking and emotions start to get you. So I just want to make a note on that. What happened here? It looks like I did grab a little positive bounce right here. This must have been trade 5, and this is trade 6. Okay, let me cover that real quick before I get into trade 6. Okay, just going back to look at why I might have taken that trade. Looks like right here on the 5-minute, it was touching the bottom of this fair value gap, which is a very reasonable trade on a day like this when it's bullish and strong. All right, came down, bounced off the 8 EMA and the bottom of this fair value gap on the 5-minute chart. Okay, on the 1-minute chart, it looks like I didn't really use the 1-minute chart necessarily. I was trying to find, the fair value gap down here. I didn't really mark that, but there's one right here that would have been a failure. But I was looking at the order block right here. There's an order block here and a couple of order blocks down here that are really good support. And I could have gotten in a little bit lower on my last trade, but the point is that this trade right here, I'm pretty much lucky that I made profit on that, because as soon as it turned to green, I broke even. And I don't know if that was a bad thing or a good thing, because, you know, you can lose a lot of profits from breaking even too fast. But I would say that that is the reasoning behind the fifth trade, which is the fair value gap on, let's see, the fifth trade. I already got that. Okay. What I want to do is get a picture of the 5-minute chart real quick, circle that up. And then there's a reason why I did that, was the fair value gap on this chart. That's the real reason on the 5-minute chart. Okay. So there you go. Let's save that. And let's talk about the last trade. All right, let's talk about the last trade, the sixth trade. I'm learning about how order blocks work and how to understand order flow by watching red candles be overtaken by green and then used as support. You see how this red candle is overtaken by green and used as support. And this one was overtaken by green and used as support right here. And that's why one of the reasons I went long right here, including the fair value gap. I figured it wouldn't go much lower than that, and it did, and I would have stopped out on that trade had I not quickly taken profits. I entered this last trade here, though. This is the last trade where I bought down here, sold way up here. Best trade probably this year. So I want to talk about that. I want to look at that real closely if I can here, and talk about why was I really confident in that trade. Well, let's see where I entered right here. Let's circle that up right. Here we go. Let's get rid of the fifth trade. We don't need that anymore. The order block that I thought was going to hold, that's why I bought right here on these pintails. Plus there was a fair value gap right here on the 1-minute chart. So let's take a look at the 5-minute chart, see what's going on. When I bought right here, I was buying on these pintails. And I thought this order block here was going to hold. And it looks like that support area from this one down here is the real support, right? The real support. And so I'm still learning, you know, I didn't realize this was still weak. It's still weak. So, you know, I did hold. I held through it because I was really going to add down here. And if I had a big loss on this trade, I was just going to suck it up. I was going to be like, okay, well, I just need to relearn what order blocks are. Try to understand, you know. Like this is it on the 1-minute chart. You can see how the red candle just completely got taken over and swept into support, reversed the order flow. It looks real, and that's exactly where it came down to. And I said best price was down here, but I had my extra orders down here just in case it dipped into that order block. So getting in at the wrong time, not having my stop loss spaced out a good bit, and then hitting those targets that I had towards the high of day. And it really hasn't gotten much higher than that. The first one was towards a fair value gap that I saw. I think it was on the 5-minute chart, maybe. Yeah, there was a fair value gap right here. And I took profit in that area thinking, you know, what if it, well, I don't know what chart it's on, but that seemed like that's what I was doing. Yeah. I think I did. Well, I just basically took profit as soon as it got over the highs of these pivots. I figured if it does a stop sweep and comes back down, it'll probably sweep over these highs. That's where my first target was. And then I just kept watching. I said, well, let's see if it sweeps the high of today. And so I had, wait a minute, where am I at? Oh, well, the same theory's going good. Here's the trade. Let's get back to the trade. Where's the trade at? Here it is. It's the same concept where, you know why I bought long. You know where I was at on the higher time charts. You know what order blocks I was using. Why did I stop out in this area or take profits in this area and this area? Let's see. Well, I can't remember why, but there looks like there's a fair value gap right up here. And a lot of times it'll go tag that and come back. And it looks like there was one. Yep, there's one right here too. So I was using fair value gaps as targets. Can I see any of those on the, yeah, there's one right here on the 1-minute chart. The second one was way up here. I guess I was just going as close to high of day as I could on that second target. So I'm glad that worked out. Now, the big thing I want to take away here is if I can't find a fair value gap, why not look at order blocks? Order blocks seem to be pretty reliable too. Okay, maybe even more so. if you got a real order block, that's the home run right there. And if it's real, if it's really a real order block, I mean, fair value gaps don't always work. Order blocks don't always work, especially if you can't identify the right one. I thought this was one here. And the real one was down here that created the support for all these other layers, right? These orders are built upon this order block. And I thought the next level up was this, when it might be now, because it attempted to be an order block here. And now we see it may have actually finished developing right here. If price ever comes down, and it did, look at that. Okay. So price did come exactly down to the top of that order block right there. So that would have been another, if I had not taken the other trades, another area. And you know what's great about this order block is that there's a fair value gap with it. So that's a double sign, double verification, double confluence, and an order block with a, oh, wow, that's really, really great. I should really make a note of that. All right, so there you go. Those are all my trades today. I'm not going to trade anymore. I'm going to do some more back testing on trade ideas, and that's it. All right, thank God.